I'm really excited. I actually haven't seen you in a really long time. But this is like literally you're like my best friend, my oldest best friend, Courtney Conklin. She has lots of things to say, I'm sure. But we're going to have a good time, and it's going to be fun. So, okay, let's see. Let's get that going. Alrighty. So, let's start off with your favorite memory of me.
So, my favorite memory of you is when we all spent the night at your house. So, we used to have this group, the clams, right? We have a scrapbook and everything.
Yeah.
We had a scrapbook.
Oh, God. We really fucking did.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I have pictures of it.
I have hella pictures of it. And I have hella pictures of that night.
It was that night. The night that we were.
Yes, the night that you got grounded.
They were there with us?
Yeah, we were the only ones up. Because I was the bad friend.
No. We were the fun friend.
Yeah.
The fun friend, but it was considered bad because we were so young. But I've always teetered more towards the dark side anyways, but I'd love to pretend I'm like this innocent little thing, like little virgin. That's what we want. You know, it's my favorite thing, but now I've stopped doing that. But yeah, actually, for some reason I'm like remembering, maybe because I've had a couple shots and my memory's not as like blocked or whatever.
They've opened.
Right? But no, literally, actually. So that night that we took the pictures where it was like the one with like you and me hugging.
Yep, and my leg was
up in
there.
That was the night. Oh my God. Literally making my eye twitch. I can't believe I fucking remember. I didn't think you were making it up, but I was just like, wow, I really did that shit?
Nah.
More like, wow. You know?
And we were upstairs. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, look, is your mom going to watch this?
Who are you talking about? Of course she's gonna watch it. And I'm gonna tell her not to watch the episode if she's gonna watch the fucking episode.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that anymore.
No, it's fine. Because like I told them like I'd be sneaking out and shit when I was younger, and they're just like, yeah. We know. Damn, I didn't realize that was the day I actually got grounded. So like I actually got grounded for like a really long time, and actually I was talking to Lamar about that. Like I feel kind of like with my friendships and stuff, for like people who don't know me, like. Because, like, you know me, like, we're both kind of the same how we were when we were younger. But, like, people don't understand because, like, I feel kind of, like, developmentally stunted sometimes, like, social situations. Because I was, like, grounded for, like, 3 years, and I just remember, like, fucking, like, craving so bad to, like, just get out of the house.
Yeah, and we weren't allowed to come over.
No, not for a while. Yeah. For a while, yeah.
So, like, where I come from, just like everybody else, like with my mom and my dad. Mm-hmm. But we're more into like some illegal activities and did some not very good things. And we're on and off active users. So me and my brothers got taken away, and we were in like foster homes with my aunt's house, my grandma's house, until ultimately getting put with my grandmother. All 4 of us did when my mom got into a car accident. She was in a coma for 9 months. I was 9 years old, and she lost 10 to 15 years of her memory. So when she woke up, she had no idea who I was. She thought she was still dating my dad, and that her dad and our grandpa was still alive, and that we were hiding him. Wow. And for some reason, I was her main target at all times. So it was like, that little girl, that little girl, that little girl. She hated me because she had no idea who I was. Wow. But we all lived with my grandma. My brothers tended to follow my parents' path and with like active using and things like that. But I met Alex in middle school when I was still super sweet.
You're always sweet. Yeah.
It definitely led me to have like a little bit of a harder skin and to be able to be more comfortable in like who I am and myself, because I was more through elementary school. It was never. I didn't have friends. I didn't have like.
We are their friend,
But I didn't go to people's houses. I didn't have friends that hung out with me. I was just home. I went from school to home to school, and that was it. That was all I was allowed to do. Mm-hmm. But I was always by myself. Mm-hmm. My grandma and my grandpa were working. My brothers were Lord knows where. And then when they were home, it was an unsafe situation. There's been plenty of times where I've been picked up from my bed and ran down the street in my jammies by my brother because the cops were coming to the house. And there was no adults there, and they had, like, illegal activity going on.
Yeah.
So, but in their eyes, that was taking care of me. They couldn't just leave me there because if the cops showed up and I was the only one in the house,
you go to foster care.
I'd go to foster care. So, that definitely, I grew up with a very strong sense of family and taking care of people. And when you love people, you take care of them even when they make bad choices or do things that you don't exactly agree with. You try to find the best in them.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I really value in you. Yeah. And that's something that I think you actually taught me.
The chances. Everybody deserves chances. And definitely, I'm really big on loyalty for, it's never mattered how long we went without talking. Mm-hmm. I've never been like, oh, Alex doesn't mess with me anymore. Alex doesn't like me. No, we have lives. We're grown.
Yeah, and I've never felt like that with you. I've never felt like you didn't like me. I mean, we've, argued or whatever, but that's when we were, younger. But I feel like since we were, older and adults, we really haven't, and I've, lived a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I've never really questioned, if you didn't like it. Right. I've always that's my best friend, oldest friend.
I know that I can pick up the phone and call you, but if you don't answer, you're going to call me back.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we're going to be like, oh, Alex is calling.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've definitely felt like that. And that's something, I really value that. Yeah.
It's definitely, I feel like it's definitely brought me through a lot of my hard times is, knowing that even if I do feel by myself, I know that I've built these relationships and these friendships with people that I value. Mm-hmm. And that means something to me.
Yeah. I think Lamar's a lot like that. And I was kind of telling him, wow, you kind of remember Courtney. But just because, you both have gone through a lot in your lives, and you both have, really good... I mean, it sucks what you went through, and it's a really shitty thing, but you have, you really could be, and inspiring to other people. And, you've always, even my parents have been you always have great attitude.
Yay! I thought they hated me.
No, you always think they hate you. They don't hate you. My mom literally texted me. I told them, last week, I was like, oh, Courtney's gonna come over, we're gonna, record the podcast, da-da-da-da, she's gonna bring her kids. My mom was like, oh, sounds like fun. The living room's not really childproof. I'm not sure what I should do. I'm like, oh, she's coming over to my house.
It's time.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. No, dude, you always think that. They don't hate you, no.
But I've always loved your parents. Yeah, and I loved that, when I was still pregnant and I came over, your dad made steak and shrimp, which is what he always made when I came over, and it's, my favorite thing.
Because he knows you're coming over.
I knew it. And I was like, I didn't want to be like, oh my God. But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I love you.
Yes, I love these people. They hate me, but it's okay.
Yeah, no.
I know they didn't, hate me, but...
No, but I know, you're playing. Yeah. I really, I mean, we can think about all these different scenarios in our life, but, my parents, I really feel like they do love my friends, because we all grew up together, and then, they also kind of, I feel like it's very rare now, I think, to have, two parents, and, because really, I'm, the only one who has two parents. That doesn't mean that it's, amazing, and it's great, but it's also just, interesting to think about, statistically, but I feel like my parents were an extension to a lot of people. You and, Kareem and Jordan and Dylan. A lot of people, I feel like they were kind of, there when you needed somebody.
I was ever in trouble, I knew that I could go to your house.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was many of times that I just showed up, and it was most likely because I was in trouble, and I didn't want to tell you what I was doing. I didn't want to tell you what was going on, but I was like, I'm just coming over. Can I come over? Can I come over right now?
I love hanging out with my friends, so I was like, I
would just come around the back and knock on the sliding glass door and be like, hey!
Yeah.
You don't know it, but I just jumped out of somebody's car on 320th. So.
Oh my God. I know. I wish you could have told me those things, because I know it probably would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it just is what it is, too.
I think I also had an understanding that, how you felt safe with me, I knew that was, a safe zone.
Yeah.
And, that's where you grew up, and that was safe.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to bring anything unsafe with me. You know, if I was really in trouble, if I was, people were coming after me,
jail,
I would not go to your house.
Yeah.
Because that would,
yeah. But that's the thing, though. Like, you protect me.
Yeah.
So that's, like, exactly why I feel safe.
Yeah.
Because you'll protect me. But I would do it, too, you know? Like, you need something, okay, I got you. Oh, Courtney would like this. Oh, let me give it to her. Her kids would like this, you know. Let me, like, save this for them or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, like, you're my family, you know? And I love that. And my sister.
Oh. I feel like my people-pleasing comes in from, like, all of the bad stuff that happened before Granny, and then we got to Granny, and I just wanted her to be happy. I just wanted her to, you know? Because we didn't really have much of a relationship with her before that. So
before your mom's accident.
So it was like, this is my grandma. I want her to love me. I want her to be happy. I want her to know that I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And we would, like we had floors like this in Granny's house. I would wax them. I would be on my hands and knees and wax them. I would clean the house spotless. I would mow the yard, do the weeds. I would go to work with them because they did like houses that were for rent. They would clean them up and do the yard work and everything. So I would go to work with them. That's like
business.
that was my people pleasing. Like I just wanted them to be happy with me. And now like that doesn't work in my relationship because like I'll clean the whole house and I'll want him to be happy with me and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Praise.
Yeah, and that's
in the same way that you got it as a child.
Exactly. And that's not the way it works. Now it's like this is my own house. I'm supposed to clean it. You know,
you have to, or no one else will.
Exactly, and it's like he shouldn't have to clap for for me to do it.
There's also a difference between being appreciated and then also like wanting praise.
Yeah.
So as long as he's like thanks for
he's appreciative.
doing that for me, then that's good. But I understand what you're saying. Also like, yeah, you're the fucking cousin.
Yeah, and now it's like the house chores and everything is equal. So
That's
it's
good.
like, it's not like
you don't have to like ask him to do things.
And I learned that it's not
that.
It's not normal for me to want him to say good job and thank you every time I do something like do the dishes. Like it's not normal for me to want that praise. You know, like that's not okay.
Yeah, that's good though that you see that because I mean, what do you think is normal then? Just to do it? Just to do it
because like. When he does it, he just does it. And, like, so, like, to mirror that, I'm like, oh, thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. And he's always been like, don't say thank you. You don't have to thank me. I'm cleaning our house. I'm doing our dishes. I'm doing our laundry. Like, you don't have to say thank you. And it's like, but I've always been, like, since I did all that growing up for that praise, somebody else doing it, I'm like, oh, my God. You know, thank you so much. Like, that's awesome.
It's, like, everything.
Yeah. And he's just like, you're fucking weird.
Is that the way do you think you only receive positive attention is when you feel like you did like grown-up activities? It's like, I would consider that a grown-up activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were only like 10. I mean.
And that was through 18 until I moved out.
So you constantly, I mean, at least you're a cleaner.
Yeah. And like, but also like things would get taken away. Like,
if you didn't do it. Yeah.
As I got older, like I played sports. I wasn't able to go to basketball. Certain chores weren't done.
Yeah, and
that would I would lose my shit, and that's where like my anger came in, and my like the emotional roller coaster came in because I was this like
the
nice,
bad behavior.
Yeah,
but you were just like expressing your feelings in a different way. Yeah.
And then it was like sports got taken, and I was just like losing my mind. You know, and that's when it became like I don't fucking care anymore.
I can't even do what I want. Well, fuck you guys.
And it's not a bad thing, you know. And look at all the bad influences that I had to look at. And I was just like, all I want to do is go to school. I want to go to play basketball.
Yeah.
I had to go to school.
You felt like you were being punished for doing the right thing, and I have definitely felt like that before. And that is like the shittiest fucking feeling because you were like, I'm the good child. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to be perfect for you and for everybody else and for the world.
What I want.
Yeah. And I'm not doing all these like other
bad
things.
Yeah.
My whole entire family is doing. I'm like the one that's actually doing good, and I'm being bashed for it. Yeah. That's so frustrating.
And that's really that was when I just gave up from there.
How old were you when that happened?
That was sophomore year.
So the year we stopped hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. I knew that I was doing things that weren't okay, and I wasn't going to bring you with me.
Yeah. I remember this one time when we got into a fight. I don't even consider them like a fight because it was more like I was like, I don't understand what's going on with you, and like you were like, oh, you won't get it if you're not in it, if you're not living the life. And I was like, I understand.
I remember.
But the thing is, like with me, I'm so fucking stubborn that like I know what you're talking about. Like when I was younger, but now I'd be like, yeah, something wrong.
But really, what it was I knew that I was bad. I knew that I wasn't doing good things, and I didn't like that you were telling me, Courtney, you're fucking up, and what are you doing? And I didn't like that. Yeah. So my immediate response was just like,
yeah.
My immediate response was just like, no, like, okay, like
I'm fine, leave me alone. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what I'm going through. But I'm like, no, I do know what you're going through. But really, I will never feel how you felt in those situations, that I've never been in those situations. So I acknowledge that. But also, it was more just like, my friend,
like,
what are you doing?
I was also very embarrassed in my own life.
And I remember, I can see.
I didn't like you guys to come over. I didn't like.
But I didn't give a fuck.
I know, you guys would come in.
Hey, I'm here.
Like, we're walking the front door.
Hi, Granny.
Yeah.
What are we eating today?
Yeah. And like that's normal for people, but for me, I was like, there's bad stuff in this house. You can't come in here. Like, I don't want you to look at this. Like,
something my mom has. I remember she said when I was younger, she's like, you go over to this, not your house, but like this other girl's house, and she lives in this like 2-bedroom apartment, and you sleep in her mom's bed and have sleepovers. When you could just invite her over here, and you could just like have a whole entire room to yourself. But I just never have cared.
Yeah. And
I feel like people, not you, but like other people have like made me feel like bad. Like they assume how I feel, I guess. But like I don't care. You're my friend.
Yeah. I think I don't think you ever stayed the night. I let one person stay the night one time, and I never did it again because I was so uncomfortable that I made her stay in my room the whole time. Like when dinner, like you know,
you were just scared because
I didn't want anything to happen. I didn't want a fight to break out when my friend's sitting at the dinner table. I didn't want somebody to throw a kitchen knife through the kitchen and my friend's sitting. And I know what happens.
And then they go to school and then they like
tell everybody, and it's like that. Look at what Courtney does at home, and I also knew. I grew up with the threat every day. Do you want CPS to take you away? Do you want CPS to do this? Do you want to be taken away? So it was like
you were already taken away.
And it was like I knew I couldn't let. I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
So it was like I can't let. No one can know.
You just dealt with it until you like were able to leave, because you knew that it could be worse if you actually did it. And then you have no choice.
Yeah.
You have no right.
And then I met, like with Jasmine, another friend that I know, she would come and stay over all the time. But she also was around that stuff.
Yeah.
So she was comfortable. It wasn't a shock to her as I thought it was going to be.
Trauma bonded with her.
Yeah.
She's like your soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like.
I was so fucking jealous of her.
She has friends that say that about me.
I mean, it's normal.
I had one of her friends, we were all getting really drunk one night, of course underage, but she pulled me out of the party, and she goes, I just don't know why Jasmine loves you so much.
Jealous.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, why is she your best friend? Why am I not her best friend? Why doesn't she want to hang out with me? Why doesn't she take me? And I was just like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a humbling moment when you realize you're not, like, the number one best friend.
I was like, what?
But people can have more than one friend.
Yeah.
And it's not...
I feel like that was hard for a lot of our generation because we were cliques.
Yeah.
We were all cliques. And then it was like, when people went separate ways, it was like, shame.
Yeah, we definitely went through that phase too. Yeah. But to be fair, I was the one that always...
You were always neutral. You were always neutral.
I tried my best. Yeah. But I've always wanted the best for you. I literally mommed your ass.
You did.
The mom. I mommed the mom.
Yeah. Now, the only one.
Yeah. But, yeah. Because I just was like, I really ever want to help people. And I think that shows through me just as a person, like, my whole life. I always just wanted, like, my friends to be happy and successful and, just have what they want. But, like, you're such a hard worker, too. And I've never, like, ever worried about you, but I've always, people...
You're worrying anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted so bad to have my own life. And to make this so much better life and this so much better situation is why I had my first kid at 17 and why I moved out at 18 and why I started working at 16 and why I was just like, no, I'm getting out. Because
you refused.
Yeah, I didn't. That, you know, a lot of our generation is that break the cycle. And I was not doing it. I wasn't having it. Like, I was like, I'm not going to look at this shit anymore. And that's why I don't talk to any of my family. Because it's like...
It's just going to be them asking you for money and then you're spending on things they shouldn't be spending it on.
And I feel like I deserve an apology.
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
Because it's really not your fault.
Yeah.
And I think that's the shittiest thing about it. And that's probably the most hurtful thing. Is that it's not your fault, but also you should be proud of yourself. Because you work so fucking hard and you have 3 great kids. And you're a really good mom. You don't put up with shit. That's something that boys respect about you. You say whatever you want. And I like that. I like that about people. Because I have a hard time doing that.
But to them, and like, I'm not shit, and I'm irresponsible, and I had a kid too young, and all that jazz, you know? But it's like, that's fine. I don't need your help.
I mean, what are you going to
do?
Throw them in the dumpster? Like, you just have to accept it. And then
the only person that ever really was fine and supported me was Granny. And Paul, of course. But, you know, everybody else is kind of like I still talk to one of my brothers, but...
When you told me about that, I was like, fuck, dude. Like, that's fucked. When she passed away.
And it's been it's been the hardest 2 years of my life. You know, like...
You're still grieving. I mean, like, it's like, even like you go out with somebody for a year, and that's not even a fucking fraction compared to how much you loved her. Like, it still takes you probably like 2 years to get over the breakup, but like, you lost somebody. Yeah. They'll probably stay with you, but over time it will get better. Yeah.
And that's what I've found is that I'm not like really heavily Christian or anything, but like I know like my relationship with God is mine and it's nobody else's.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know that she can still see me.
Yeah.
She can't talk back to me, but she can hear me. And I honestly, oftentimes I message her on Facebook.
Oh,
I just send her things.
That's good therapy. Yeah.
Just I know she's never gonna get the message. She's never gonna see it. The delivered is never gonna pop up.
But you can pretend.
But I can pretend.
And it gives you relief.
It does.
And that's all you need is to do things that make you feel good and things that you want to do in your life. And then you'll be happy.
Yeah. Even when I'm like angry, if I'm like, because there's often times that I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm mad. Like, you left me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and then I read those messages later and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I still apologize. Yeah. It's like, it's growth. Mm-hmm. It's a part of growth.
I'm proud of you. Do any of your family have like any mental illness?
So there's a lot of mental illness in my family that it was talked about. Like, mental illness was something that was very talked about. And
but it was something
that was shamed.
Okay, yeah.
So it was like, if you had this problem, you had issues, like, and we don't do that. Mm-hmm. And then it was like,
talk about it.
Yeah, we don't. It was talked about as in like the people who didn't have it talked about the other people that had it, and that's how it was talked about.
Like gossiping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was like, even growing up, like with anxiety, like I knew that there was something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. I knew that, but I didn't want to say anything. Yeah. Like,
how old do you think you were when you knew?
I got diagnosed at 15. Yeah. And it was because I just started kind of like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, it was like I was scared of things that I wasn't scared of. And I wasn't scared like I'm afraid.
Just like,
I would freak out.
You'd freeze.
Yeah. Or I would like.
Yeah, panic attacks.
And like my biggest thing was shutting down.
Yeah. You just. Like, so what do you do when you shut down?
I close everybody out.
You just go.
I literally, I don't talk. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have the scar, but I used to scratch my skin. I would fold my arms and I would scratch my skin until it was raw.
Wow.
Like, and that's when Granny took me to the hospital. And do you remember I had wraps around my arms for like 2 weeks because
I don't remember that.
I scratched my arms so bad that it was meat. I had scratched down to the meat in my arm. Wow. And there's nothing they could do but let it heal. because it wasn't like a cut. It wasn't like an open wound. It was just the
layer
skin was gone.
By like layer.
The skin was gone.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was actually when me and Granny were having problems, and she was starting to take. Yeah, she was starting to take. It was freshman year. She was starting to take basketball away, and we were having the conversation, and Jasmine was there too, and I was just scratching. I was just scratching my arm, like, tried, because they were forcing me.
Yeah.
To, like, because usually when I would shut down, they just leave me alone.
Right.
And then
she used to cool off, whatever.
Yeah, I was fine with that. But this time, they were forcing me to have this conversation. Because
you definitely felt like, I'm doing everything right, I don't understand what's going on, why am I being punished?
And they were forcing me to talk to them, like, and I was uncomfortable, and I didn't want to talk, and I couldn't even make the words out to what was happening. Like, I was just freaking out, and like Granny and even they were like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Courtney, say something. What's wrong with you?" And then my arm started bleeding. Yeah. And they took me to the hospital, and they made me do the test, and that's the only time I've ever answered that test honestly in my entire life. Let's be honest.
That's the thing. You have to be honest. You have to be honest.
Yeah, you get that test like 10 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's when they diagnosed me with anxiety and gave me medication that I've never taken.
Never took it? What was the medication?
Celexa.
I've only taken Lexapro, and I got way too high one time, and I had a panic attack.
Yeah.
But it was also because, like, in the time, like, I was in a bad relationship, and so, like, it was actually good because I was like, oh my God, I don't like you. But then, like, that thought freaked me out.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you never have taken any anxiety medication?
I did. I will randomly take it because I still have it. I still have the prescription is for life. So I can take it. I can, but I feel like it makes me numb. I don't feel anything anymore. It's not the medication for you. Yeah, is what I'm hearing. And they would say, like, oh, it takes a couple days to take effect, right? Yeah. So okay, so I take it for a couple of days, and I feel fine. Yeah. But then I take it for like 2 weeks, and I'm like waking up every day like this. Emotionless, like. Yeah. And I like that I am very emotional and feel things deeply. Yeah. You know, I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm older, self-harm isn't an issue. Mm-hmm. Self-harm isn't something that I'm worried about. And if I ever were worried about, I know that, okay, I'm to this point and I need help. I need to reach out to somebody right now because I'm going to hurt myself.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Did you used to, like, hurt yourself in this?
I used to cut my wrists. That's why I got this tattoo, to cover up most of the scarring for both sides. Wow. Yeah. When you were... And then the inside of my thighs, because this was noticeable. Yeah. People knew this.
Yeah, no,
so I would cut the inside of my thighs so that you can't see it. Nobody can see it. So
oh my gosh. You know, I can say this whatever, but yeah, I wish you would have told me. But also, like, it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you don't do that anymore. But that's what I'm saying, like, you are a resilient person, and you are very, very strong, and you are a really good person. Like, you're like, I used to, like, look up to you, you know, because, like, I'm like, damn, like, she would just be saying some shit, like, some, you know, I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. And then that's what
I had no fear. Yeah. I don't think I would necessarily
but then also,
be a
like,
good thing.
It's, like, fucked up, too, because it's, like, well, why did she have this? Like, because of all the shit, like, you did through.
Like, I don't care.
It's just, like...
Kill me, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I really didn't know about you. I mean, like, is it something you want to talk about?
We can.
When was the last time that you did that? Do you even remember? If you don't remember, that's good.
I remember, but I'm ashamed that it was as recent as it is.
Oh, really?
When Kyron was a little under one, when my life began to fall apart, when I was breaking up with my first baby's dad and my grandmother was passing away.
I mean, things that are very, very stressful and also very traumatizing and very hard. So you shouldn't be ashamed because you were expressing how you felt. It just wasn't directed in a better way. Yeah. But you shouldn't be ashamed of it because you did it because you felt like you needed to. You had to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. just like, I didn't want to feel the emotional pain anymore. I wanted, the physical pain is less. Yeah. It hurts less than the emotional pain.
Yeah. I know for me, I numb myself, so I become detached and I become dissociated with my who I am. And that's why it's so important for me to not lie and people please, because I become so numb and disassociated that I just don't care. And people do things like that, I think, to feel something and to not feel something. As a punishment or as a relief. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you were going through something that was very difficult, and like, you don't necessarily have you didn't have all the tools in your toolbox that you needed yet. Yeah.
It was a time where I felt like I didn't have anybody. Yeah. And I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to have to do anything anymore. Yeah. And I feel like it's so shameful.
You're fine.
I feel like it's so shameful. This is
good, though. It's good to talk about it because, like, but you really shouldn't be ashamed, is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like, you're going to feel how you feel at the end of the day, but, like, you shouldn't be ashamed because it's not like you have all this money and you have all of these opportunities and you have everything you could ever want at your fingertips, and then you're doing these things. It's like you were going through a really hard time.
But I had these two kids that needed me. They needed me.
But you're here. Yeah. But you're here and it's okay. Yeah. Right? At the end of the day, you're here, it's okay, and like you get through the day, but for things like that, you have to get through the moment. And then once you're through the moment, you're like, I really could have just done this and was fine. Like, I'm always fine. You're always going to be okay. Yeah.
And that's how I handle things now.
Yeah.
You're always going to be okay. I can scream and yell and cry and cuss the world, but I'm going to get up. Yeah. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it again.
Because you should be proud. Like, I was telling you, you should be proud of yourself. Like, you're fucking, like, resilient and amazing. And unfortunately, the circumstance of it shouldn't have happened, but it did. And, I mean, you're here. So it's just.
Every day is a battle.
Yeah. And people have a lot of people have issues and stuff, but yeah, I've tried to do as much research as I can about harmful things like that, but I really do think that it's more people are trying to feel something or they're trying to get rid of something. Yeah. And if you can just get through the moment, then that's it. But it's also just like the shit that you're dealing with is just so fucking much. Yeah. I get why you did that. Yeah. I understand, you know.
I had to learn that there's other ways. You know, like.
So, like, what do you do besides that?
So now when I'm like to my tipping point, like I can't fucking take it anymore. I literally I fall to the ground. I lay on the ground and I curl up in a ball and I scream and I yell and I cry and I'm done. Yeah. I can't take anymore. Like, and I save it. Like if I wake up and I know, like that's a lot of the reason why I think I have sorry. You can see that's what I do. That's what I I feel like I get up and I can tell. Like there's too much. I'm too overwhelmed and I can't take it anymore. But I have kids. Yeah. So I wait.
But then that's also like you're like people have judged me for having children. I did, but people judge people. But like also through my actions I would hope that you would see that I love you, you know? Also, but maybe that's why you had to have children young. So you were still here.
And it like I created no, I'm not where I want to be. But
no one's where they want to be, baby. Right? I want to be a millionaire, right?
Every day we're getting there. We're getting one step. And it's like, I take pride in the fact that my environment is the exact opposite of what I grew up in. Yeah. And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to show little me that
your inner funky child.
This is what you're supposed to do. This is what your kids are supposed to see. This is how your kids are supposed to grow up. Even when you're having a hard time and you're having a bad day, your kids should have the best day of their life every day.
They should know nothing.
Exactly. So
but happiness.
Yeah. So I would hold it until nap time. or until it was just mom time. And
that's really good. You're like, I feel like you've always been very good about releasing in high stress situations. You've always been very good about like saying the right thing, and then also like you're just a person, like you just need to release that shit. You know,
and it helps to try to teach my kids like it's okay
to cry,
it's okay to be emotional, you know, it's
agree.
okay to cry. And like I tell them when I'm having a bad day, and you know them, they're always mom this, mom that, mom Kyron did this, mom RJ did this, mom this is happening. And I'm like, hey, mom has had a lot today. There's been a lot of moms going around this house, and I'm only one. There's 2 of you and I'm only one.
Now you have another baby.
I know. But like,
and a baby, so you gotta really be like baby, you know.
And that's how I explain it to them, like, mom's only one, and you're 2, so I think you 2 can work it. You know,
that's good. Independence and like, no, you are a really good mom. You are, and I really think that those babies, like, I think everything happens for a reason, and I think when you're young, like it's very difficult, especially like coming from different situations from everybody's house, and then going to school and just dealing with the shit from school. It's just like, it's too much sometimes. And that's why people say, I think, like, you should always think about, well, maybe somebody's having a bad day or whatever. But yeah, I mean, definitely, like, I understand why you did the things you did. You did what you had to do to feel good.
To be okay.
To be okay. And to just get through that fucking day. Or that moment. You know? But it's also important to recognize that, like, it's just a feeling, and the feeling goes away.
This too shall pass. That's also something I've took comfort in.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Yeah. And that's something that, like, we've been working on. Yeah.
This too shall pass. And I don't, like, for a lot of people it might not resonate with them, but that phrase resonates with me. And when I am overwhelmed, I'll sit back, drop my shoulders, drop my tongue, and I'll be like, this too shall pass. I have to say it out loud and recognize, like, this
the moment.
This will be okay. Like, I'm gonna be okay.
Look for all the shit you've been through. This ain't shit. You got it.
And now it's like, it's another thing of like gratefulness, like growing up in constant survival mode. Now, you know, I'm not fight or flight anymore. Now it was important for me to become dependent on me alone. Because if I'm dependent on other people, I'm fight or flight. And I have, like, there's no one, not to be offensive, or I don't want you to take offense to it, but like, I can't, in myself, like, my own head won't let me count on anyone.
No, and I mean, like, I understand that it's just like, because why would you?
Exactly.
You know, why would you? Why would I if I can't even have my mom or my brother or anybody that's supposed to be my family?
So it's like, I know that if I'll never put myself in a situation where I can't do it by myself. But that also creates struggle in my relationship.
But it's a good thing, because then you choose to be with the person. Because that also, on the flip side, is what happened to me. Someone depended on me so much, they stayed with me. Even though they didn't really love me truly, they stayed with me, and then I got scammed. So I would prefer to be with somebody who doesn't need me. Because then
it's hard. Like,
it is.
In my situation, there's often opportunities and things that I turn down, and that I stick to my guns, and I'm like, no. And he'll just be like, why not? And I'm like, because I can't do it by myself. And he's like, you're not by yourself. He literally tells me that.
You have a hard time, like you're really good at delegating work at work, but you don't have.
For my life, my personal life, if I can't do it by myself, I won't do it.
Because you don't want to have to rely on anybody else. I think that if I was your boyfriend, I would create an environment where, like, if we had an apartment together, you could pay for everything yourself. But also, I would just be myself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely, like, just try to make you feel safe.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to leave. Yeah. That's good.
But now it's like our family has grown.
Yeah.
And we need a bigger place.
Yeah.
But any place is outside of my
comfort
ability.
zone.
Yeah, my comfort zone, to where I feel like I can still live the life that I want to live and pay all of these bills.
Yeah, I really don't think that. I just feel like that's just really smart. I just, like, I understand, like, the defense mechanism part of it. Also, though, is it really a defense mechanism, or are you just being safe?
And being safe.
And that's fine.
But that also, like, in turn, like, because we have these conversations, you know, in turn, God, I'm going to say exactly what he wants me to say. That shows that I don't feel safe. That shows that I'm not comfortable with him. That shows.
So what does he need to do to make you feel safe? There's something he's not doing that makes you
nothing. I'm a horrible person for saying that, but
there's nothing
that he could do that would ever make me feel like I can count on this person. And, like, I know, like, I can say, like, I can count on you. I know that I can count on him. I know that if I called him right now and I needed him to be here, he would come. But
so I think you need to reflect more. You need to base, like, are you basing this decision off of a feeling or the actions that he has shown?
Yeah, I'm basing them off my feelings and how I feel, and I'm not taking into consideration how he feels, and that he's very confident. He's very confident in everything that he does. He's very confident.
I don't care who you date, as long as you're fucking happy.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then I'll be telling you A, B, C, D to get the fuck out of that relationship.
Yeah.
Do this and this and this, but, like, I mean, you're smart. You already be having all that shit down anyways.
Yeah.
So I just be, like, telling you so I know I told you mostly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about you. I feel like you know, like, I just need to be saying shit just to say it. Just to be like, I said that shit.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like a lot of people don't understand that about me. But anyways, that's a tangent. But, but yeah. But yeah, so, like, for me, I have a tendency to base most of my decisions off of facts rather than how I feel, which is why I feel so disconnected with myself, and which is why, like, I was so comfortable with being, like, pretty much, like, depressed and traumatized for a while, my last relationship. But when I got with Lamar, I was like, wow, this is love, you know, like, that feeling, but I wanted to, like, fucking stab it in its head, like, I didn't want to go towards it, and so we're kind of the opposite. You go off of your feeling, like, I'm scared, I'm feeling like this because how I grew up, like, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, but if I just know I do this, then I feel safe, and that's what makes me feel safe, and that's perfectly fine to do those things, but also, you have to be fair to the other person, so it's like, you want to make them also love you, and you want to, like, do things, and,
and be happy.
Yeah, but it helps your relationship. Like, I have a really hard, like, honestly, I mean, I don't know how, I don't exactly remember, because I, like, blocked it out of my head. But I don't think I was ever, like, a really emotional person growing up. I feel like I was very just, like, eh.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was, I don't think I've ever, besides one time, seen you cry. Ever. And I've never seen you overly angry. I've never seen you overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. You're very in control. Like,
I was numb. I numbed myself to protect myself so much that there's feelings that I, like, love, I forgot.
Yeah.
Like, or happiness. And it's really sad, but, I mean, it's the truth. I numb myself so much that that's why I'm, like, people are like, why were you in a relationship with this person for so long if you didn't like them? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I numbed myself so much, I was like...
And then from the outside looking in, it's like...
Bitch, what are you doing?
No. It was like I would see your guys' pictures, and, like, because we didn't talk very much during your guys' relationship.
That's true.
And it was like, I always seen you in, like, these amazing pictures, these awesome outfits, like, always doing this really cool stuff. And I was like, they're great. They're so successful. I'm so happy for her. You know? And then we got together, and I was like...
Nigga.
What?
Beat his ass. Yeah. But that's also the thing, like, I talk about my second episodes, like, why was I so comfortable with not saying anything? It's because I'm a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. But anyways.
But I feel that way too.
Yeah.
It's also, like, for me, it's because of everything that I've grown up with. Mm-hmm. My life is perfect, and I built my life, and it's perfect. And I will pitch that until the day that I die. Because you really, really want that, and that's the dream that you want. Yeah. Like, there's no problem. I want to have a family. I want to have all of these things, and then the fact that my ex-partner was like, you're never going to have a happy family like you want. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, so you base more of your decisions off of emotion rather than, it really has to be intertwined. And it's hard. Yeah. But I will say, I think that you have a little bit more of an advantage because you know how you feel. Yeah. And feeling emotions for the first time is, like, very anxious. But I'm not saying, like, oh, I'm worse or you're better or whatever. But I'm saying, like, there's a difference between each of us, you know? Like, logically speaking, like, I feel like logic is a lot easier to understand. Yeah. But, like, emotions are, like, yourself. And you don't know, like, am I feeling this emotion correctly? But it's not even like that. Yeah. Like, when you actually have emotions. Yeah. It's like how you feel is how you feel, you know? So do you feel like you are really in tune with your emotions? I do. And I feel like I'm very dependent on them. I'm very dependent on myself alone. Mm-hmm. So, like, kind of like how we're ectocentric. Is that what we Endocentric, yeah. I felt like, I feel this way, and this is right, and that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And, like, it doesn't work when you're in a relationship because I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to do, and I don't care what you do. And he's like, I'm going to do what you're doing. We're doing it together. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, no. I'm your boyfriend. Yeah. You're Lamar. Right? And he's just like, what? That's what I'm like. I'm like, we're on the same page. I'm not sure what's going on. And he's like, oh. But it's because you're so used to being on your own. You're so used to doing everything yourself. You're so used to, like, just fucking doing your own shit that it's just, like, weird when someone's like, okay. Yeah. And, like, validates you. Yeah. And I'm okay with, like, smaller living. I'm okay with, like, I grew up with 10 people in one 3-bedroom house. Like, I'm okay. I don't, like, my 3 kids and me and a boyfriend is not a problem in a 2-bedroom house. Or a 2-bedroom apartment. Well, they're little, too, so it's like, why? But think, like, the way that he explains it is, we have a dog. We would be so much better in a house. Think about the kids could go outside and play. The dog could go outside and run around the yard. And I'm just like, rent, bills. And he's like, but we can afford it. And I'm like, no, we can't. And he's like, yes, we can. Like, we can. Yeah. And I'm just like, so I'm scared. He's very confident. He knows that we can. Be a team player is what I saw. What I hear from that. And I'm just like, I'm comfortable. I'm safe. I want to stay here. I'm good. Yeah. And he's just like, no. Growth. Our family just grew. We have a dog. This opportunity, like, we passed on a house that was available because I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. Why didn't you want to? Because I felt like I couldn't do it by myself. And I could have afforded it by myself, but it would have took away. It would have took away from other things that I spend. Like, I'm very, like, ever since we talked about budgeting all those years ago, I am very, like, Junior accountant in action. Right. I have my budget for coffee. I have my budget for cigarettes. I have my budget for going out to eat. Things that you want. You get what you want, but you're still, like, being reasonable. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I'm very good. Comfortable. And I've been on this budget for, like, a good year. Nice. And so I'm like, I'm proud of you. If I go to a bigger house, everything's going to change. I have to change my budget. If you decide to go to therapy, I think you would really like it a lot. And don't give up on finding a good therapist and one that you actually like, because it took me a while, but I didn't try very hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, tried it one time and was like, what the fuck? I'm done. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm smart enough. I can do this shit myself. But also, you've been through a lot in your life, and I don't think that you should be hard on yourself. I think that you should be proud of yourself. It's okay for me to scream, and it's okay for me to cry.
and it's okay for me to shut the world out for a second.
Yeah.
I have to limit that time, and I have to do it when it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm done, I have to act like it never happened.
Yeah. Or even just be like, okay, that situation happened. However, I literally just went through that and I'm fine.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Like I literally
try, yell, okay, try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that's not an abnormal response.
Yeah.
To any situation. You need to express your feelings. And I think that a lot of people become invalidated with their feelings because like growing up they're just like, I know for me, like I was told like to be quiet when my like parent was upset.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tended to not talk about anything because like I didn't want to say anything to make anybody upset, which is also like people pleasing. We were talking about that the whole entire time. But yeah, so like I really don't feel like your response to things is like irrational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just it's things that just aren't talked about. I feel like
Yeah.
many people do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just things that we don't
I've done that. I've fucking punched a pillow, punched a wall, I punched a hole in the wall.
But see, I went through that phase too. I went through that phase of breaking my phone, throwing my phone at the wall, throwing items at the wall, putting holes in my apartment, putting holes in my home, you know, like tearing my things up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why the fuck
why
am
did
I
I
doing
do that?
this? Like,
Yeah. Causing more problems for yourself. Because now you gotta buy a new phone, now you gotta fix the wall, and then you gotta fix the TV. And then you do those things, and as you're fixing them, you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel more like a shitty person.
Yeah. And it's like I'm just fucking my own shit up.
Yeah.
Like, why
when
did I
you
do
don't
that?
need to because you already have enough issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is like phone 50
Yeah.
I've had in my lifetime, and I'm just like...
But also, I would rather have you do that than hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's there's levels to it.
Yeah.
You know, it went from myself to my things, and now it's my mind.
Yeah.
And just I let the emotion take over my mind, and I scream and I yell, and instead of taking a deep breath and calming down and figuring it out, I want that time. I can't wait till I can get till it's bedtime. My kids are asleep, and I could scream and yell in my pillow and
there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Nothing
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that because you're just a person and you have 3 fucking kids and that I can barely take care of myself and there's nothing wrong with that. Your feelings, and I think that's something that like my mom has instilled in me and that I'm very grateful. If you feel a certain way, then you need to feel that. But then also like I was so numb, so it's like anyways. But how you deal with things is how you deal with things, and that's fine. And you should never feel invalidated. And like I was even telling him, it was like if we get into an argument, we had a miscommunication because like we don't want to hurt each other's feelings. And if we feel like either one did hurt each other's feelings, then either one of us must have misunderstood the situation because we would never intentionally hurt each other's feelings. Yeah. And so like in those situations, I have to repeat those things to myself. But it's also just like setting an expectation. But also like I had to learn all this shit. Like I just fucking figured this shit out. I still don't know anything.
Yeah. Literally, I feel like all relationships are the same because half the time Deontay will say something, and you know how I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop off. So he'll say something that he didn't think was going to be as much of a trigger as it was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm at 100 and I fuck you, your mom, and your sister, and he's just like, bro, calm down. This is what we were arguing about this, and now it's fuck me and everybody I know. What happened?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, this is how you said this, so I had to come back more than you. And that's
you're just like really defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like if you.
I'm very defensive too, but it's just like. Yeah.
He's learned though. Like there's certain things that are gonna trigger me and they're gonna set me off. And once I'm to that point,
it's hard to get back.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Like literally, we have many
You're off
arguments.
into space.
Yeah, we have many arguments that are unresolved because I'm like, now that you said that, don't fucking talk to me again. You're gonna get away from me, and I'm gonna get away from you, and we're gonna try again tomorrow.
Valuable lesson that you have learned, and also if there's anything else you want to say to wrap it up, just let it out, or just to feel good. So when you leave, I want you to feel good. I feel like we had like just like therapy.
I feel like the most valuable thing that I've ever learned was you can do whatever you want for somebody, but you did it. don't expect anything from them. You know, so many times people are saying, I did all of this for them, and look what, exactly. And it's like, you did that because you wanted to.
Yeah.
Don't do something for somebody else. Do it because you want to. And then it'll help you identify what type of person you are. Like, if you called me and was like, Courtney, I need to do this. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then I called you the next day, I was like, Alex, I need to go do that too. And you were like, oh, I really can't right now. If I got mad at you for that, I would be a bad person.
You know, I 100% agree with you. I think that that's something that, like, because I do catch myself and it's like, wow, because I do a lot for the people that I love. But for me, I struggle between, like, doing a lot for the people I love and also, like, am I being taken advantage of?
I feel like that's how I let myself not get taken advantage of. Because, like, we've been through similar things with past relationships, and it's like, I did all of this. But the problem was that I expected
them to treat you a certain way when
you expected them to be you. I expected Gooseby to be me. I expected him to do exactly what I wanted. He's not me. He's not going to do that, you know? And it's like, I was mad for a really long time because I feel like I deserved better. I'm not saying that I didn't. I did.
Yeah.
But
most people do.
I was mad because he didn't do what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, he didn't meet an expectation. You put an unrealistic expectation onto somebody that couldn't even fucking lift that shit with the pinky. So yeah, it's your fault. But also, they suck.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do it for you. Yeah. Don't do it for anybody else.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, do it for you. Like I really want to move into a bigger house, but I'm so scared. And in this situation, I could say, you know, like, I'm doing it for him. I'm not.
Do it for you.
Because if I do it, if I say that I'm doing this for you, I moved into this house for you, and now I'm failing, and now it's your fault. No, it's not.
Look at you. Resentment. That's resentment.
Exactly.
You're building up resentment.
Exactly.
So in a way, your fear is also protecting you from building up resentment. So that can also be very confusing.
Yeah. But it's like, I have to do for me. You know, and yes, I do for my little people, and I do for the person that I love.
But you deserve what you want.
But I want to do it for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do it, and then what if it's an accident? What if something happens and all of a sudden we can't do it?
Yeah.
It's not his fault. But if I say, I did this for you, it's his fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to project faults on anybody ever again in my life. That's a part of me only depending on myself, but it's also protecting me from
being somebody you don't want to be.
Yeah. Talking to people the way that I was talked to most of my life.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't ever want to belittle anybody. I don't ever want to make someone feel bad. You know, I did this, and I will always take the fault. I will always
take responsibility. Yeah, and I think that's what, like, you and I, through our friendship, have, like, lasted so long, is because, like, if you're like, Alexandra, like, you're being a bitch, I'm like, yeah. But then I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, like,
my bad.
But then, like, I feel like it's also, like, we're not afraid to call each other on our shit, but then also, like, I've told you, like, in different relationships, leave him. I've told you my honest opinion, but then you take it or you don't, and then, like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But, like, I tell you how I feel. Like, I'm like, I don't like him. I think he's a piece of shit, whatever. But, like, you're still with him. I'm like, okay, well, if you're still with him, like, what do you need to work on in the relationship? Do you need to communicate more? Like, you're going to be with him. You're going to work it out. So, like, at least I can help you make the best situation out of it.
And that's what real friends are. We accept each other no matter what we do. I'm not here to make decisions for you.
Exactly.
I'm here to support every decision that you make, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
You know?
That's family.
I'm here for if shit goes wrong, I'm here for it. If shit goes right, I'm here for it.
Exactly.
If shit goes 100% south, guess what? Get the fuck out of here. Get up. Like, we're here for it.
Exactly.
You're never going to make a decision in your life that I'm mad at.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I've never felt like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, definitely probably felt like that for me because I was like a bitch.
But
I acknowledge it, I accept it, and I take responsibility.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but like I said, like, you know my whole story. You are a part of my story, and I'm a part of yours. And I think that growing up, parents just try to do the best they can, but like you said, like, I definitely feel like we are the generation that's going to stop a lot of the negativity through our kids. Yeah. And I believe that.
That's why like you said, they did the best that they could, but growing up in such a harsh, like, they think they had it so hard, right? Your parents told our parents told us all about how hard it was.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It is so hard. And we're like living this life, and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But these little people didn't ask to be here. I asked for them. And I'm going to give them everything that I've never had.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure they have every opportunity, every open door, even
I
doors
think
that are
you
closed,
have
I'm going to pry them open anyway.
Proven yourself to do that. 100%. Because you are not a half-ass bitch. like you are, and that's, I think that's also like why we have vibed so long. Yeah, because like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna fucking do it, and I'm gonna do everything I can to get what I want, and I'm gonna get what I want.
Yeah.
And like we're literally like alpha males and like women.
Exactly.
So when we have
also a problem.
Yeah, so when we have somebody who's like relaxed, I can literally clean the house and shut the door without you having to tell me to. Or like I was even like, you need to be quiet while we're recording. He's like, I'm an artist, I know what how I need to behave, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. But it takes a lot of like swallowing pride, and it takes a lot of like self-reflection. Like I realize like, wow,
that's part of the
I'm kind of mean.
Yeah, that's part of the
But I'm not like an asshole, but like I'm like, damn, maybe like I'm very critical. Yeah. And especially since like you go to work a lot, you micromanage people, I would literally 100% expect you to bring that home.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I
But
don't.
that's good.
Yeah. But
You're
we
doing
have,
good.
there's a relief period we have learned because honestly, after becoming, like a school manager, we've learned that I need a 30-minute relief period after leaving work. Because I'm going to come home and I'm going to manage the dishes, I'm going to manage the carpet being vacuumed, I'm going to manage the laundry being done, I'm going to manage the boys' TV time. You know, I'm going to manage. So when I come home, I say hello to the boys, I ask them about their day, and then I go to my room for like 20 minutes, and then I come out, we'll cook dinner, we'll have everything. But that relief period from home and work is necessary.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I can't.
I think, and that's also the other thing too, is like just managing like what do you want day to day, like what is going to make you not the most happiest you've ever been, but like what's going to make you be like, wow, I enjoy coming home.
Yeah.
And for me, I need an hour by myself.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, not even just when I get home or anything. It's just like every single day I need an hour to watch my show and just to lay in my bed, butt ass naked, like whatever, just to be myself. Yeah, be by myself. But then like he does his own thing. He plays video games. He makes music. He does his own thing. But that's normal to be your own person. And like when you're not your own person in relationships is like when I think it's an issue. So something that you said that most valuable lesson that you've learned in your life so far is just to
do for you.
Do what you want.
Yeah. And not only what you want, like when you want to do for someone else, do it because you want to. Don't do it because
be selfless.
Exactly.
So your lesson is just to be selfless, and when you do something nice for somebody else, just to feel happy that you were able to do that thing for somebody.
Don't expect from other people.
That's it. Yeah, and that's
it's like you're setting yourself up for failure.
I agree.
Like if you expect from other people, you're setting yourself up for failure. You don't know that person. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on in their mind right now.
And expectation is different from standards. Yeah.
There is a standard of how you expect or how you are to be treated, because it's not an expectation, it's a standard. This is how you are to be treated. If someone treats you less than that, also take into consideration, give them a chance. Mm-hmm. What are they going through today? Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. But if it's repeated, okay.
Yeah.
But be selfless, be careless.
I think I learned that from you, actually. I definitely learned a lot from you, like, growing up, and I've always valued how, even though it's like a trauma response, how stern you are within yourself, but it's also a good thing, because, like, you know how you are and you know how you want to be, and I think that you'll do anything for your children, and I think that people who have children young need to have children young kind of as a lesson, and to kind of reflect on, like, what they don't want to give to their kids. Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. It was, I grew all this bad, you know. I just wanted something good.
Because your kids are so fucking smart, dude.
I know.
Dude, so you're scoring a fucking 4th grade level? First grader? What? I will pay for him to go to college. I'll pay for it because I want him to be smart. He can take care of you and me, this little fucking coding genius on the computer. But
it's unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's a love that's never gonna go away. It's a love, like,
That's crazy.
I scream, I yell. I don't want, you know, like, I know she's talked a lot about how I'm a great mom. I don't want you guys to think that I don't scream, I don't yell, I don't punish my children. I do.
Yeah.
And you know what? They wake up the next day and they tell me I love you, Mom.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, they wake up the next
As long as you know, they know that you love them, and I really believe that they do, and then you always, like, bring them around and stuff, and they're like, my mom was literally, like, so excited to see them, because she's been doing online school.
Yeah, so she
missed
kids.
Yeah. She's like, I like the kids, but then she's like, oh, they're so cute.
I got two for you.
Yeah, here you go. Take away. But yeah, I'm glad. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. I'll probably do another one sometime.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'll be always glad to be your guest. Peace.